Common perception often casts the Vedas as a single, heavy tome or a disorganized anthology of ancient poetry. The reality is a mathematically precise oral tradition. These red and black notations are a sophisticated data system used to transmit massive information across millennia. Navigating thousands of specialized verses composed across vast shifts in geography and time requires more than a linear reading. To understand the corpus, we must map it spatially. We can plot the entire tradition onto a two-dimensional architectural matrix. A vertical axis defines the text's practical function, while a horizontal axis tracks its chronological evolution. This structural blueprint allows us to track the development of the Indo-Aryan mind from its roots in agrarian survival to its peak in abstract philosophy. On the y-axis, the left column represents the four foundational collections, or root Vedas. This graphic outlines the parameters of the primary root, the Rig Veda. It forms the poetic bedrock of the system, containing 1,028 hymns dedicated to deities like Indra and Agni. These hymns originated in the Sapta Sindhu region. As this map shows, the early settlements were concentrated along the paleo-channels of the Saraswati River. The second root, the Yaju Veda, shifts focus to mechanical application. It details the ritual formulas and prose instructions required for the sacrificial fire. The Sama Veda provides the musical application, converting spoken hymns into precise melodies, forming the root of Indian classical music. The final vertical root is the Atharva Veda, focusing on daily practicalities like medicine, domestic rituals, and early philosophy. The four Vedas function as distinct specialized technologies, each managing a specific layer of ancient physical and spiritual existence. The horizontal axis represents the passage of time. It traces 1,000 years of linguistic evolution, from roughly 1500 to 500 BCE. This model tracks the text's physical evolution as society transitioned from nomadic pastoral clans into a complex, stratified agrarian civilization. The linguistic stratigraphy begins with the Samhitas. These foundational mantras were codified in the earliest stage of the tradition. As ritual life became more elaborate, the Brahmanas were developed. These prose manuals provided the intricate instructions needed for complex fire rituals, or yadnas. Eventually, the focus shifted from physical ritual to internalized reflection. This transition occurred in the Aranyakas, the forest treatises. The final stratum consists of the Upanishads, marking the point where the language evolved to handle purely philosophical inquiry. These layers form a living stratigraphy, documenting a 1,000-year evolution of the Indo-Aryan mind. By merging these functional and chronological axes, we begin populating the internal cells of the architectural blueprint. This grid allows us to locate specific texts at exact coordinates. For example, the Aitareya is the Brahmana belonging specifically to the Rig Veda. Similarly, the Chandogya is fixed as the Upanishad of the Samaveda. This horizontal evolution mirrors the four stages of the ideal Vedic life path, known as the ashramas. A student, or brahmacharan, focuses on the Samhita hymns. As they become a householder, they apply the Brahmana ritual guides to their daily social obligations. In the later stages of life, the forest dweller engages with the mystical Aranyakas, eventually leading the renunciate to seek liberation through the Upanishads. The matrix aligns with these life stages, ensuring that the complexity of the philosophical content scales with a practitioner's transition through their social and spiritual duties. Maintaining this massive data grid without writing required mathematical oral repetition, ensuring zero textual corruption over millennia. This chart maps how the corpus was preserved through rigid human lineages. The compiler, Vyasa, organized the material and passed specific branches to specialized preceptors. These lineages fragmented into regional schools, or shakas. The Yaju Veda originally supported over 100 schools to manage its vast ritual and prose requirements. But the oral architecture was fragile. Foreign invasions and structural societal shifts led to the extinction of most branches. Today, only a small fraction, such as the Shakala of the Rig Veda, survives intact. The matrix we study today is the surviving skeleton of what was once an incredibly vast, decentralized human supercomputer. When we view the architecture as a whole, every ritual and historical layer points toward one final column, the Upanishads. This stage is known as Vedanta, the end of the Vedas. As shown here, the focus shifts from manipulating the external world to exploring internal consciousness and the fundamental nature of Brahman. This stratum created a vibrant intellectual culture, typified by debates in Yanika's court. Inclusive dynamics featured female scholars like Gargi and Maitreyi, establishing concepts like neti. This enlightenment pursuit is distilled in the Gayatri Mantra, the foundational goal of the entire corpus. By mapping the texts architecturally, we recognize the Vedas as a dynamically engineered blueprint, guiding human consciousness from physical survival to spiritual liberation.